Welcome in to Duval Daily presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for being here. NFL trade deadline day, 4 p.m. Eastern, November 1st. Right now, we're going to look at some potential wide receivers the Jaguars could trade for. Look, Trevor needs to play better. Everyone needs to play better outside of a few Jaguars. But you know what helps is having better receivers, having more talent to throw the football to. And you could set up a more longer-term plan than what you currently have by adding a younger player who's not on an expiring contract like Marvin Jones is. He's expiring after the 2022 season. So you could bring in someone to replace Marvin Jones in the lineup long-term, someone who brings some more speed, some more deep ball ability, some more 50-50 ball ability. Go up and get it. I think there's some players out there that might fit that bill for the Jaguars that could come in and really make a big difference for this football team, both in 2022 and beyond. So we're going to take a look at some of those players right now. We'll start with Chase Claypool, Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. He's only 24 years old. He's in his third year in the NFL. He is an expiring contract after the 2023 season, so you would have him for the remainder of 2022, all of 2023, and you could use that time to evaluate what he's bringing to the team and decide whether or not you would want to extend him long term. But this is a player, Chase Claypool, who is a monster. He is a get off the bus type of guy. He's 6'4", 240 pounds almost. Ran a insane 4.40 at that size, vertical jump of 40 inches, and what he's done in the league for the Steelers, despite not being the most consistent young player, after not being super experienced coming out of Notre Dame, again, only 24 years old, he has proven to be a guy that you can get the ball in his hands in space and he can make things happen with his big frame. I mean, this is a guy at wide receiver that's bigger than Evan Ingram is for the Jaguars at tight end and more athletic. And so you talk about him being able to line up outside, him being able to go up for those 50-50 balls and come down with them, him being able to create separation within an offense thanks to his great athletic gifts and his developing skill as a route runner. I think Chase Claypool could be that guy that you bring in here and all of a sudden you're like unlocking a bunch of different things that you don't have right now. Again, the deep threat that Trevor Lawrence needs. He's not going to create a ton of separation all the time deep down the field, but with his size, frame, athletic ability, and ball skills, he can go up and get it. Trevor can just put it up there for him. You have a guy that can win jump balls in the end zone that could really help the red zone offense, and a guy you can use in a variety of different ways outside of just getting him the ball deep or getting him the ball in the red zone. So I think Chase Claypool could be a really interesting add for the Jaguars. Again, his contract expires after the 2023 season. What would I be willing to give up for a Chase Claypool? I'd be looking at a day 2 pick. If you could do it for a third round pick, that'd be fantastic. If you could do it for a third and a fourth or a third and a fifth, that would be great. Ultimately, the highest I would go for Chase Claypool is a second round pick. I doubt that a receiver that you're going to get in the second round of the 2023 NFL draft is going to come in and make more of an impact than Chase Claypool. He's still on that rookie contract until the end of 2023. You come in, you have a head start, you get him right now. You don't have to wait till next year. I think that could be a really interesting add for the Jaguars. Just unbelievable physical ability Chase Claypool has. Looking at another situation with another young player on a rookie contract here who's actually only in his second year, so his contract won't expire until after the 2024 season, that's Elijah Moore. Now, he does not have the size of a Chase Claypool, and you're talking about, gosh, do you really want to bring in another small receiver? He's just slightly under 5 foot 10 inches tall. He's not a big guy. Well, yeah, I would bring in Elijah Moore because A, he's damaged goods a little bit from the eyes of the Jets. He's gone out there and been public about his frustration, asked for a trade. He says he's not getting the ball. This guy's only 22 years old, and he deserves the football. And if I was Doug Peterson, I'd be happy to give it to him. Now, the Jaguars and Jets just traded James Robinson for a conditional sixth, so are they really going to strike up another trade here? I'm not sure. Probably not. But Elijah Moore, Again, only in his second year in the league, he would immediately be the Jaguars' fastest receiver. He would immediately be their best deep threat, and he would probably immediately be just their most talented overall player at the position. You can use him in so many different ways. Again, he's an elite route runner with elite speed, 4.3 speed. Despite being 5'10", he does play with some strength, and he can kind of hand fight and out physical some defenders down the field. He can go up and get it a little bit. He can separate. He's really a guy that I think would fit perfectly in Doug Peterson's system. Now, again, he's 5'10", so is this guy going to be your alpha, your 50-50 ball guy all the time? Probably not. But is he going to come in and make this Jaguars roster much better? Yeah, again, your chances of landing a true wide receiver one here at the trade deadline, slim to none. But could you get much better at the position and then keep going after it, in the 2023 offseason and beyond? Yeah, I think you could definitely do that. I think Chase Claypool and Elijah Moore, while they're very different type players, could both provide some of the things the Jaguars need, and both have experience in the slot and outside. So I really like both of these prospects. It looks like both of these situations are situations where in Pittsburgh they have a lot of investment at the receiver position already, and they just brought in rookie George Pickens. In New York, the situation with Elijah Moore. He's not getting the ball like he wants to. They also just brought in a rookie receiver in Garrett Wilson. So I think both of those situations are ones where it's pretty possible that those players get traded, and I think the Jaguars should be in on those trade conversations without question. And Elijah Moore, similar to Chase Claypool for me, and what I'd be willing to give up. I would go as high as a second-round pick for Elijah Moore. I don't think you're going to get a rookie in here next year in the second round that's going to bring more talent to the table, and this is a guy who already has, right now, a year and a half of NFL experience. All right, before we continue, I'd like to remind you to follow me on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. And please like and subscribe on YouTube. You can hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss a show on here. Now, we're going to go out west here a little bit and talk about a team that the Jaguars just lost to in London. Jerry Jeudy, he is in his third season in the league. He's only 23 years old as well. So another young player on a rookie deal that we're talking about. He's a former first-round pick. So he has that fifth-year option as well. This is a player that I think has even more potential than Chase Claypool or Elijah Moore, but I think he would cost a good bit more as well. The Broncos do have their fair share of receivers already. They extended Tim Patrick, who's been injured. They have Cortland Sutton. They have KJ Hamler. So this is a team I'd be looking at, and specifically Jerry Jeudy. I think he could be your true number one receiver in the NFL. I know he's not that big. He's not really physically imposing, but he's an elite route runner with really good hands that I think is developing nicely and could be a legit number one wide receiver in this league. Again, 23 years old, expiring contract after 2023 right now, but you could pick up that fifth-year option and make it through 2024. I would be willing to give up multiple day two picks for this guy. Chase Claypool and Elijah Moore, I would give up a day two pick and a day three pick. But for this guy, I would give up 2 day 2 picks. I think he's that good. I think he has that much potential. And I think he has so much more to show in this league. I think Doug Peterson could help him get there. So I would be willing to give up multiple day 2 picks for Jerry Jeudy. I might also call about his teammates. KJ Hamler, as I mentioned, he's proven to be a deep threat. So he's another small guy. I don't think he's the same level of talent or potential as Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Chase Claypool, but he has proven to be a deep threat. He would provide that for the Jaguars, and he would be their fastest receiver on the team. So you could be looking at it that way, and maybe he doesn't cost as much as any of these other players we've talked about. He's just a deep threat you could get in here and try to help get that vertical offense going. He's under contract through 2023. Also look at Cortland Sutton, as I mentioned. He's an ex-receiver. He's 27, under contract through 2025, but there is a team out after the 2023 season. So if you wanted to move on and cut bait, you could certainly do that after 2023. I don't know about Cortland Sutton's availability, but this is a guy who has wide receiver one talent, and he's definitely that player who can get deep and go up and get the football. He can be a possession receiver for you as well. I think he's the type of 50-50 ball player that Trevor Lawrence could really use right now. And I'd be willing to give up a couple day 2 picks for him as well. I'm not looking for the Jaguars to be giving up a first rounder for any of these players, to be quite honest with you. I don't think that would be wise at this point. I think you want to keep your first rounders and have that chip that you can push in, whether you want to use that pick, trade him for someone else during the offseason. I don't think you want to get rid of your first round pick right now when you're 2-6. I just don't think that makes any sense. So first round picks are off the table, but I would give up multiple day 2 picks for Courtland Sutton. Kendrick Bourne. He's 27 years old as well. He's in New England right now. I think he could be available. They've talked about him and Nelson Aguilar both being available. Bourne's proven to be a pretty good deep threat in this league. He doesn't have great speed. He doesn't have great size. He's 6'1", but he's just a good receiver, a good football player. And I think you could get him for a late round pick, 6th or 7th round pick, something like that, because the Patriots don't seem to be too keen on sticking with him long term. He's under contract through 2023 as well. So this would be one of those value type of additions, kind of similar to KJ Hamler. Kendrick Bourne's more expensive because he's on his 2nd contract, but he's proven, again, to be a decent deep threat, to be a guy that you can hit downfield, and you could probably have him for a 6th or 7th round pick. This next name I'm going to bring up, I think, is the most unlikely name to be traded to the Jaguars, primarily because he's a division rival. Houston Texan, Brandon Cooks, another small guy, but another guy who would immediately be your fastest player, who would immediately be your most reliable receiver, who would clearly upgrade the room. He's 29. So obviously 29 is not really the age in which you're looking to acquire outside help often. Usually you want to go a little bit younger. But I think this is a guy who would really help Trevor Lawrence out a ton. I don't think it'll happen again because that's an interdivisional trade. Those are very uncommon, especially with a player as good as Brandon Cooks. He's expensive, but there is an out after 2023. So you could keep him through 2023 or 2024 on the current contract that he has. I would be willing to give up a day 2 pick for Brandon Cooks. I think the contract is a little bit of a detriment. I think his age is a little bit of a detriment, and the fact that he's really not one of those big ball winner type receivers. But look, the guy just knows how to get open and get the job done at a really high level. He's done it for a long time in the NFL. Then there's a couple names like Darius, Slayton, or Nelson Aguilar, who both of these players are on expiring contracts. But would they raise the floor of your wide receiver room for the rest of the year? Yeah. So could you give up a 7th round pick for either of those players? I think Slayton definitely gives you a deep threat. I think Aguilar has proven that he can do things down the field as well in this league. Neither is really flashy or really going to be someone like a wide receiver 1. But would they raise the floor of your wide receiver room? Could they add something to that room? I think they could for a late round pick. Again, both are on expiring contracts, so neither would really be looking like a long-term investment unless you re-sign them following the season. But yeah, those are the wide receivers that I think could be in play for the Jaguars, could be in play for teams around the league looking for receivers. I think if you were able to land a Chase Claypool, Elijah Moore, or Jerry Jeudy, that would be an absolute home run. Again, I'm not trying to give up any first-round picks for these guys because I think you want to hold on to that first-round pick and have that draft asset, have that asset going into the offseason. And you don't know where you're going to finish. Right now, the Jaguars hold the number 5 overall pick. They win some games. That first-round pick's not as valuable. If you could use it as a trade chip. But if you trade it away now and then you continue losing games and you end up with a top 5 pick, you just trade it away. Again, a top 5 pick. So I think you hold on to that for now. You don't get rid of a first-round pick. But I would put a lot on the table for a Chase Claypool, an Elijah Moore, a Jerry Jeudy, players like that who are still on rookie deals, who have a lot of upside, who have shown a lot, who are on teams that have a lot of wide receivers already, and they're not exactly in perfect situations. So those are those wide receivers I'd be looking at. You could also look at KJ Hamler from Denver again, Cortland Sutton, Kendrick Bourne, Brandon Cooks, Darius Slayton, Nelson Aguilar. If there's any other wide receivers y'all are interested, you can let me know in the comments below. But that will do it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Could not be doing this without y'all. Your support means the world. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to support the channel further, you can go pick up a new hat or shirt at genjag.com. You can also become a channel member here on YouTube. We've got links in the description below. Have a great Tuesday, Duval.